Hi there, and welcome to Rent Prep for Landlords. I'm Andrew Schultz, Community Manager here at Rent Prep. I'm also a licensed real estate broker with over 14 years of experience in the property management and rental property industries. On today's episode, we're talking about holiday gift giving. So if you are a landlord or a contractor, maybe you're looking to treat yourself, or maybe you have a landlord or a contractor in your life that you're looking to give a gift to, we've looked at a bunch of gifts here under the $100 price point, with the goal of giving a gift that will be used often and not just tossed aside. So we've got a lot to cover today. Let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to be spending most of our time today in desktop mode here, and you'll see that a lot of these, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure all of these items are available on the Amazon website. You can search for the item just by searching for the description. We'll also have a list of all these items in the description box on the video as well for you. A lot of the items that we're going to be looking at today are items that we've found useful here in our own property management office for any variety of purposes. A lot of stuff on this list is stuff that I have either carried or am currently carrying or have tested at least in the past. So I'm giving you some ideas that come from a world of experience. We're going to start things off today with this first product here. This is a set of cleaning brushes that you can drop into a drill, and we love these. We've used these quite a few times, especially in hard to clean areas like showers that are incredibly filthy, or trying to get tile grout work clean, things of that nature. These are nice, and they're also incredibly inexpensive. At only $7 for a 4-pack, this is something that you can purchase and repurchase as you go through these brushes and not feel bad about having to go back and repurchase them. And they work really, really well. And they work in any kind of a drill or an impact driver. I would recommend a drill, not an impact driver. And they will give you as much as you want out of them. They're really a nice product. They're incredibly useful. They're good at getting into areas where it's a little bit tighter. You can't get in there necessarily with your fingers, but you do need to get in there and clean. This is a good option, and they work especially well on grout. Moving on to our next item. This is actually a set of 2 items that I would recommend purchasing together. The first is this collapsible stool, and this is something that I've been carrying in my vehicle for a while now. And I'm going to show you the second item, which is a collapsible aluminum picnic table. And believe it or not, I originally bought these for camping. And when I was camping, I realized that they are incredibly useful to have in my car basically all the time, especially for going into an apartment to do a small job. I have to go in and change out a lock or something like that. If I take the chair and I take the little table, now I'm not kneeling down on the ground to change out this lock. I can actually sit on a little stool and have everything right next to me on a table, so I'm not hunched over and searching for all of my stuff. These 2 items make it very, very easy to go in and knock out a little job. This is great if you have a handyman in your life that does a lot of work for you, and he's always looking for better ways to keep himself organized. This is a good way for him to stay organized and keep his back a little bit safer as well. Moving on to our 4th item, this is a contour gauge, and these are incredibly useful anytime you're doing anything like flooring or woodworking or something along those lines, tile work especially. When you're trying to custom cut an angle, this is a great opportunity. You know where this comes in incredibly useful for us is around boilers, because you'll have the boiler tubes that come up, the boiler supply and return that come up into the boiler. If you're trying to get flooring around that, this is an incredibly useful tool to use to actually get those angles and those curves that you need, and then be able to cut those curves out and make your flooring look a lot neater. This works, like I said, incredibly well on flooring and tile. It also works really, really well if you have an oddball piece of trim that you're trying to cut or something of that nature. Our 5th item on the list is a wireless endoscope, and this is one that you might not necessarily think of as being useful, but this is the image that I was looking for. You can see it's incredibly useful in situations where you are looking to get a look into an area that you can't necessarily open up and see. It's a good, it's a good camera to use when you're trying to get into an area that you can't necessarily physically access. The inside of an HVAC unit comes to mind when you're checking heat exchangers. Another area that comes to mind is popping a little hole into a wall and looking to see what's going on inside the wall before you actually bust the wall open all the way. It's a good way to check and see if maybe you have some sort of a water leak that hasn't presented itself outside of a wall yet, before you go ahead and just start popping holes if you're just trying to find where the situation may have started in. This is also incredibly useful when you are trying to deal with a situation in a sink where you might have something that's caught down in the trap or something like that. You can feed this down into the trap to see what it is that's blocking it up, or feed it a little bit further down a drain line to see if you have like an obstruction or something that you might be able to get with without using a snake, essentially using something like one of those red spring, I don't know what they're called, but the little red spring grabber tools or something like that. This would be a good opportunity to use the Boroscope as well, because you can go in, find what your obstruction is, then go back in with your removal tool and actually remove it. A lot cheaper than calling in a plumber or something like that. Our next gift idea, and this is one that we use almost every day here in our office, is a laser measure. These are incredibly useful for measuring things, obviously. But the most common time that we use them in our office is when we're going through and measuring up a new apartment, getting it ready to put on the market for the first time. We like to go through and measure all of the rooms so that we can include that in our listing. And then obviously you're always looking at different measurements and things like that when you are doing an estimate or whatever the case may be. We like these laser measures for that reason. They're very, very quick. They're very, very accurate as well, which makes it very, very easy for you to keep moving forward. Obviously, this is not going to take the place of an actual tape measure for any of a variety of reasons, but this is a really easy way to get measurements quickly and keep moving forward. You can do an entire house in terms of measurements in probably under 10 minutes. It's very, very fast. You basically just set it on the wall, push the button, you get your measurement instantly. We use these quite a bit. I would certainly recommend adding one to your toolkit if you're not already carrying one. This is probably one of my favorite items on the list, and this is a neck reading light. And again, this was something that I picked up because I was using it a lot for camping, and then realized that it had a lot of application inside of our office as well. The nice thing with this is it sits right on your neck, and the lights themselves are adjustable and will hold their position. So this is incredibly useful if you're doing something where you need to have both of your hands, like working in an electric panel or working inside of a furnace or trying to solder something up, whatever the case may be. Any situation where you need to have access to both of your hands in order to complete the task that you're working on, but still need some light directly in front of you, this is an awesome, awesome product for that purpose. There are a million different types of headlights out there, headlamps, neck lamps, whatever you want to grab. This is obviously the one that I'm currently carrying, but there are a ton of them out there. My recommendation would at least be make sure that you have some sort of a nice flashlight that you can use when you're out in the field. But the other nice thing about this is that it's USB-C rechargeable, which means that more than likely you're going to have a charging cable for this kicking around already, more than likely in your vehicle. And if you do happen to have one in your vehicle, it's a nice way to keep it charged all the time. Our next gift is another flashlight. This is actually the flashlight that I carry on a daily basis. This one's by Streamlight, and you can see I purchased this one back in May of 2018, and I do carry this flashlight every single day. It's probably one of my most frequently used tools, to be honest with you. And it's been with me for a few years now because it's worth having it with me for a few years now. Frankly, the flashlight works incredibly well. I was looking for a flashlight that was incredibly bright for going in and out of basements and doing walkthroughs on apartments and things of that nature. The nice thing about this flashlight in particular is that it also has multiple different settings. So you have a high setting, a low setting, and then it has like an SOS strobe setting as well. It's got a little bit of weight to it, so it's nice to keep in your pocket. It's a nice flashlight to have. And again, this one is USB rechargeable. It might be USB-C rechargeable now. The one that I have from a couple years ago was USB Mini, I believe, but this might be on USB-C now. Looks like it is. So there you have it. There's another opportunity for a flashlight, a great flashlight. Streamlight makes incredible products. You'll never go wrong with a Streamlight product, in my opinion. So that would be my recommendation for a flashlight. Now we're moving on to a couple of personal wellness products that I think most contractors are probably already aware of. But if you're not, or if you have someone in your life that suffers from cracked and dry hands or cracked and dry feet, these next two products are a real lifesaver. And I can say that because I've used both of these personally. I suffer from especially cracked, dry hands in the wintertime here in Buffalo, and this O'Keeffe's Working Hands is a great product for that purpose. It does an excellent job of helping to help basically cure some of the cracks in your hands and moisturize your skin a little bit to get you back to where you need to be. And the O'Keeffe's products work really, really well for that purpose. Now, that said, I did just recently discover this Curacol product for foot skin, for foot repair. And again, I get really nasty dry skin and cracks on my heels, again, due to the cold weather and winters here in Buffalo. This product is amazing. I used this product a couple nights in a row, and I discovered almost immediately, like it says visible results within one day. I did have visible results within 1 day. This has done an excellent job on helping to moisturize my feet and deal with some of the cracks in the skin on my heels and things of that nature. And honestly, for the first time in a long time, my feet don't hurt all day, every day. So definitely worth checking this out. It's not necessarily a cheap product, but it does do a really, really good job. And you don't need a lot of it. It basically comes in a squeeze tube similar to, there you go, you can see the tube there. It's not a huge tube, it's a 1 ounce tube, but you don't really need a lot of it every time that you use it. I would strongly recommend this if you have issues with cracked or dry feet. A couple more products to take a look at here. This is actually one that we use a ton of. We buy these in bulk from Amazon. We've purchased them multiple times, as you can see on the screen, and it's a Velcro cable tie. I carry some of these with me in my car. I carry some of these with me in my backpack. Our leasing team carries these. Our maintenance guys carry these, and they're incredibly useful for just wrapping up cords or wrapping up whatever it is that you need to wrap up, really. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cord, but these make for making your showings, your marketing photos a lot easier to take, because it's very easy to wrap a cord up and make it look neat in a corner rather than having a giant wad of cable that you have to either Photoshop out or whatever the case may be. These are awesome to have. They're not incredibly expensive, and they are really just handy to keep in the car and have at all times. So this would be something that I would recommend for anybody who's working in and out of apartments where they're constantly doing make-readies, getting things set up for the next tenant to come in and things of that nature. This is a product that I picked up a couple of years ago. Actually, I picked up last year, just about a year ago to the day, probably on Black Friday sale, judging by that date, and it's a Blue Yeti portable power station. There are a ton of different portable power stations out there, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you what one is the best for you, but the one thing that I did want to mention is that if you are looking at portable power stations, make sure that you're looking at one with a lithium iron phosphate battery. The reason I say that is because these batteries are a lot safer than the lithium ion batteries that we find out in some of these battery packs. And if you're going to have one of these in your vehicle where it could be banged around, or on a job site where it could be banged around or dropped or something like that, anything where that battery could sustain some damage, you're going to want to look for these lithium iron phosphate batteries, because they don't have nearly the, let's call it, explosive tendencies of some of the other batteries out there. I like this product. This one's worked pretty well for me. It is on the smaller side, but that being said, this product is capable of powering a furnace for several hours. And keep in mind that furnaces don't run constantly. So more than likely, you're going to get a day or so of use out of a furnace just powering it off of one of these battery packs. And again, this one is on the smaller side. There are a lot larger battery packs out there. The nice thing with this battery pack is the size of it, is the fact that it's a smaller size, which means that I can grab it and I can throw it in the back of the car and take it wherever I need to take it to do whatever I need to do. You can certainly charge batteries off of it, certainly charge cell phones and things of that nature. The more battery capacity inside the power station, obviously, the more charges you're going to get back out of it. And some of the power stations work better than others if you're trying to run tools and things off of them, especially because some tools have a lot higher power drive than what these battery packs can actually provide. So definitely make sure that if you're looking to use tools off of a battery pack, that you're sizing your battery pack appropriately, that it can provide the energy that you need for the tools that you're trying to run. And last but not least, I had mentioned these in a previous podcast or video, I'm not sure which, but this is the SwitchBot Smart Hygrometer Thermometer. It is a thermometer, but realistically it's a hygrometer, which means that it monitors both the temperature and the humidity level. I personally really like these because they come in a 4-pack, they're inexpensive, and you can basically drop them anywhere where you need to keep a monitor of the temperature and humidity. So we've used these in refrigerators that we think might be starting to fail. We've used these in vacant apartments. We've used these outdoors. Any place where you want to keep a running tally of what the temperature and the humidity is over a 30-day period. It keeps a 30-day log, essentially. The nice thing is these are Bluetooth enabled, so you don't actually need a Wi-Fi connection. You can pull the data down anytime you're within reach of the Bluetooth connection on one of these, and it does keep a 30-day data log. And then once it downloads to your phone, it'll combine with any previous data logs that it's downloaded to give you a longer historic view. The app is super nice. You don't have to create an account, which is nice because you can even drop one of these at a tenant's apartment and they can monitor it or send you screen caps of the data or whatever the case may be. We've used these quite a few times in quite a few different situations, and they're actually really, really useful. The more you think of not needing them, the more you realize that they come in handy all the time. So we've used these all over the place. We actually have several in place right now in vacant apartments, just to help us monitor the heating and cooling conditions and things of that nature. And that is a really, really nice product to have in your toolbox. So there you have it. Holiday gift giving doesn't have to be a challenge. Hopefully you found an idea or two in today's video. If you're still on the hunt, give it some thought and make sure that you're choosing a gift that will actually be used by the person that you're gifting it to. Did we miss something on your shopping list? Drop us a comment down below and let us know what you're hoping for in your stocking. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Andrew Schultz with RentPrep.com, and we'll talk to you soon.